Welcome back to the Division 2. I've had a couple of comments recently about builds lacking damage output, seen people complaining that they're being shredded by NPCs, and the only solution is to whack your DPS/weapon damage as high as possible without becoming a one-tap weakling at the same time. I've been trying different things to boost my damage as much as possible, pretty much to the point of having a glass cannon build almost only focusing on offensive stats, because when I first reached 450 gear score in World Tier 4, I was probably doing about 15,000 damage per bullet with my AR, which will sometimes take a full 60 rounds to drop a normal enemy. Now after messing around with my build, I've been outputting 40 to 50,000 damage per shot and can take down normal enemies in seconds. Even elites are dropping crazy quick compared to before. My build was originally focused on survivability in terms of armor and health with regeneration perks and stuff like that, but I now have multiple builds so I can change on the fly and deal high DPS when I need to. The good thing is that there's still even more optimizing I can do to my build. I'm nowhere near done after 200 hours in the game, because World Tier 5 is dropping tomorrow, and that's going to increase the base damage for weapons, boost our gear score and gear sets, are going to completely change the way builds work, having different debuff effects and more perks and stuff than the normal 3-piece brand sets. The first thing you should do if you're looking to up your damage numbers and shred some enemies yourself is make sure you're running the specialization that is going to help your build the most. If you run a single shot rifle, then equip the sharpshooter specialization, which is going to boost your rifle damage by 15% after using enough points to unlock all 3 tiers. Demolitionist is going to boost your SMG and LMG damage by 15%, and Survivalist will boost your AR and shotgun damage by 15%. There's other perks and stuff that come with each of the specializations, like the ability to boost your group's damage to enemies that have status effects like burn on them by 10%, which actually goes hand in hand with the incendiary grenades that come with the specialization, but because this video is about boosting weapon damage, we won't focus too much on the other perks that are obtainable through the specializations. Just make sure you check them out and use the one that will best help your build. I use Survivalist due to running an AR, and if we take a look at the military P416 I'm using, it has 18.1k base damage, 675 RPM, and holds 60 rounds in a mag. Talents, attributes, mods, and even exotic weapons will boost your damage. I run the Merciless Exotic Rifle as it's got a holstered talent which is going to give me a 5% chance to deal 20% extra weapon damage as explosive damage. Then I've also got the Ranger talent on the P416 itself, which adds 2% weapon damage for every 5 meters from a target I am, meaning if I'm 50 meters away from my target, there's another 20% weapon damage. The Devastating talent will give you another 5% weapon damage, and one piece of gear from the Fenris Group AB brand set will boost your AR damage by 10%. Talents don't just work with weapons, you can use them to boost damage to elites, crit hit chance and damage, which won't directly increase your weapons damage stat, but it will boost the damage output you apply to enemies. If you hit a crit when you deal 50k damage normally, with a 50% crit hit damage boost, you're going to hit 75k instead. Always, and I mean always, use the shooting range to test your guns. I didn't do this from World Tier 1 to World Tier 3, but in World Tier 4 it's helped me out massively. I was using an MK16 for a long time because it felt good to use. But after finding my military P416 and testing the DPS, I probably deal 1 to 200,000 extra damage per second because of the fire rate alone. Your base damage, all the boosts from gear, RPM, mag size and drop off point all contribute to your damage, so keep testing the guns, test different pieces of gear on the build and find the best build for you. Don't forget the recoil, the P416 barely moves and accuracy and stability also comes into DPS. You could deal 200k from far against one target and 400k to another just because of the gun's accuracy and how you control the recoil. There is a lot to consider when sorting your builds on this game, but you'll get used to it and find yourself seeing ridiculous damage numbers eventually. Also, if you find a new gun and want to test the recoil, what I've been doing with my mates is finding a random wall where I can see my bullets after firing, and offloading an entire mag into the wall without trying to control the recoil, just so that I can get a feel for the recoil pattern and I can learn how to counter it. If you're still unsure, then ammo resupplies are everywhere in the world, so just shoot a few test mags and find some consistency. I've seen between maybe about 600 to 950k DPS with my current build, and as we're wrapping the video up there, I would like to know in the comments what DPS you're dealing. Also let me know what your favourite gun is, and any tips you might have to boost your weapon damage so you can easily destroy the tougher enemies in the game. That's it for this video, I hope it helped you guys out, thank you for watching.